Okay, my movie is Anatomy of a Fall. This was recommended to me by someone who I thought had really good taste in movies, right?
I'm probably the only one who planned what he was wearing today.
Oh, mine are
Did you do it for what is that?
Listen,
Oh no, it's Earth Day, but it had a feather because I was thinking, what Native American things do?
Oh yes.
So
Oh yes. Yeah, you would have loved the Huntington Beach. That was just so
Oh, it
amazing.
was really
That was
nice.
so amazing.
And we're
Okay.
back.
Oh yes. Yes. We were just talking about how we were at Huntington Beach for
Huntington
that.
Library.
Because that's what you
Oh,
guys
yeah.
are
I
waiting
keep
to
calling
hear
it
about.
Huntington Beach.
Huntington Library. I wish we would have been at the beach. Huntington Library for like Chinese New
The
Year.
Lunar
Oh
New
my
Year,
God.
yeah.
It
Well,
was
maybe another
amazing.
20 years, Huntington Library will be at the beach.
Yeah, really. You're right.
It was great. Anyway, so yes, so this will be
Mine.
you, Patty.
Okay, my movie is Anatomy of a Fall. This was recommended to me by someone who I thought had really good taste in movies, right?
Yeah.
The director is Justin, I'm going to kill these names.
Good.
Triet.
Justine,
Okay.
yeah,
French.
it's a woman. It's a woman.
Yes.
En français, s'il vous plaît.
What did I say?
Justin.
Justin.
Yeah,
Justine Triet.
Justine.
And it's the three main people in it is Sandra Hüller.
Well,
Anybody?
it's like it's a
Anybody
German
want to correct me
pronunciation.
there?
I'm sure it's like Haller.
I'm sure.
Sundra.
Hüller.
Can I get through this? Okay.
No.
Who plays Sandra, the wife, who's accused of murder? Milo Machado is Daniel, the little boy who was amazing.
Yeah, he really was.
And, oh God, this is going to kill me. Swan Arlemad.
Well, that's easy for you to say, Patty.
I know, Arlemad. Plays Vincent, the defense
So
attorney.
Scandinavian, is it?
I don't know. Anyway, it's a 2023 Golden Globe for Best Foreign Movie. Funny enough, I always thought one language was spoken in this, and it was French, German, and English were spoken throughout the entire thing,
Yes.
which
Which
shows
is
you how much I
German,
know
remember?
language, right? Now, they all describe it the
Ich
same
bin
way.
Berliner.
Yeah. They all describe this movie the same way. A woman is suspected of her husband's murder, and their semi-blind son faces a moral dilemma as the sole witness. The first part I get. I've never saw the moral dilemma of the son. So if you look at the title of the movie, which I did, but I'm thinking, oh, murder, court.
We'll love it.
I'm thinking, yeah, I'll love it, right? So, but actually the title tells you everything. And I went in thinking it's going to be a typical murder mystery, courts,
Well,
right?
crime thriller. It was just described as.
Yes.
So yeah.
Well, it's not. And even though it's brilliantly acted, I got to say, these three people were great. The description of it is not right. So when I went into it, I thought this is going to be a regular crime movie. And if you know the crime movies I watch, you know what I like in my movies.
Yeah, Law
But
and
this
Order.
wasn't. This was exactly what the title said: Anatomy of a Fall. So you're seeing this woman go to trial, different aspects, the ones you can put in court, the ones behind the scenes, the anatomy of a fall of this woman who is, you see how everything is perceived, but you actually get to see all the different perspectives. And if I was on that jury, I tell you, I wouldn't know what to say but in courts, you don't see that. So it was very disappointing to me until I caught on to the title. And I had to go back and go, okay, I didn't read the title and take it to heart, because what title do you take to heart? Not really, right? Okay, so the little kid in it, I don't know what made him so brilliant. He doesn't have a moral dilemma because he didn't see the damn thing.
Yeah, exactly.
But what he
Sorry.
did, I won't say it, but there is something he does here. But the moral dilemma of a child, that has nothing to do with the movie, and it's not even brought up, except you see his perception of it. So I I don't know if I like it or not, tell you the truth. And
I know what
I'm
you
never
mean.
going to recommend a
I know what
movie
you mean.
that I haven't seen. Lon?
I actually found this to be a rather dull movie, but the boy does have a moral dilemma. Because one thing about the boy, which they never explain it, I don't think in the movie, at least I missed it completely because this movie was very hard for me to follow. The drama happens because, first of all, the Anatomy of a Fall, I don't know if you mentioned it, has a man that falls off the roof.
I did not mention that. Yeah.
And ends up dead.
Maybe.
Yes.
Well, again,
That's all you
that's
see.
how they're describing
He's
it from the
found.
description.
That's what you
Right.
see, is the man fall off.
So what's interesting too is that, because you're right, because even some of the performances, it's a really subtle performance, because this is closer to I would call real life. But the thing is, that's why I found it probably more boring. I really found it dull. It's like their discussions about going over the scene and this and that. It's like, I'm not getting into it. The boy himself, because he was in some kind of accident that was caused by the father,
Right.
you figure, oh, okay, there's one sort of connection between the father and son, da. Then you find out that you find out things through the father's character only after he's passed away, and she's recounting stories. So they're both recounting stories at this time point. So, and they're always changing this. I mean, and so to me, it's like, this probably is what being a kid and being in a murder investigation is like, because you say one thing, then you think about it, says, oh, maybe it was
Right.
something else that I'm not sure, which he does. And it's a big moment when he decides, is that right? In my head, when am I thinking? So that's when I think when they talk about his dilemma, it's that kind of stuff. Am I really remembering it right? Am I remembering certain incidences right? Because it sort of leads towards the end of the conclusion.
Gee, I didn't get that at all,
Really?
but I thought it had such a little part to do with all the many other parts.
But
But that's me.
That's because you missed out on something being the end of a conclusion.
I got the conclusion.
I will give this to the Sandra Hüller character that I understand why she got nominated, because she's got to deliver such a weird performance, or actually I should say weird, just a variety of emotions, because at the beginning you see her being interviewed. Her husband, for some reason, according to her, doesn't seem to like what's going on in the interview.
Right.
So he starts playing loud music, so it comes to an end. And this is all supposedly before the murder. So this is right at the beginning. And then everything that happens after that is what the whole movie's about. Yeah. And unfortunately for me, I didn't find it very engaging. They go into a courtroom, like you said, and that's actually most of it, I think, takes place at the courtroom,
But
in my opinion.
It'd be better. You think it would have been better.
So again, you're hearing the perspectives of people's testimony.
Right.
And again, Susie had mentioned it earlier that how the court system there, it's rather different. So it's actually more unique. It's like, oh, this is interesting that they're on a subject and everyone could sort of put in, a question.
Casual.
Questions.
It's
or-
very casual, yeah.
Very
Or
casual.
literally put in, oh, but
Yeah.
this is why I think this happened. They can actually put in an opinion,
Right.
but all at the same time. So it's very unique in that aspect. But it was so hard for me to get through. This was
You could
actually,
say it boring.
I actually, it was easier for me to get
Well,
through
then he's taking away my
Amsterdam
review.
than it was for Anatomy of a Fall. So I was sort of surprised that this was a critically acclaimed movie, and watching it and people are nominated. It's like, wow, this sort of left me cold. So I felt bad because I thought, I'm like you. Am I missing something out of watching this movie? I do mean that. Somebody might have to explain to it, and I might say, oh,
You missed nothing.
I missed that.
You missed nothing,
But-
Lon.
I was hoping it was going to be such a better movie, and that's why I kept watching it. And I thought, it's going to get interesting. And then they sort of there are good performances in it. That's the thing. There were a couple performances I thought were very good, especially of the prosecutor and her attorney. But otherwise, it's like, wow, this movie, even as the conclusion ended, I thought, is
I
this
feel
it?
a 3 coming on. I feel a 3 from Lon.
No, actually, I really enjoyed this movie. I thought it should have been called the Anatomy of the French legal system.
That would have been better, actually.
But I get this out of the way. The one issue I had with it was that the boy seemed too mature for me. I don't know, he's supposed to be 11 or 12. I thought some of the stuff he would say was like, that's like 17, 18-year-olds saying this. It's too mature, but maybe it's French. Maybe they
He's
don't-
French.
Exactly.
More
More
mature.
mature, yeah.
So
I don't think it changes. 11, 12-year-olds
Yeah.
are
Yeah.
11 and
You
12.
should be asking, what's my next Nintendo game? Or whatever. So I found the movie very suspenseful. It kept me suspenseful. It was suspense to the end because I was waiting for the lady. I thought the movie shows that obviously she's accused. He's found on the ice and he's been falling. So that she's accused of murdering him, and they go into it and it shows that the relationship, and it shows that he's actually resentful of her because he blames her for where he is, and he's a writer, but so is she, and he blames her because she's successful and he's not. She blames him because the child is I think he's partly blind,
Right.
and he blames him for it because it wasn't the boy was in an accident because he didn't pick him up on time, so somebody else picked him up. And they were
Is
involved in
that
an
what
accident.
happened?
Yes.
Yeah, somebody like
Oh,
that.
see,
the
like I
babysitter-
said, I missed exactly
the baby,
what the
I think it was a
problem was.
babysitter or whoever it is that picked him up because he couldn't make it on time because who knows what he was doing. And then they were involved in an accident.
Oh,
that made
so
a boy
see,
partially blind.
I thought for some reason the father was in a car accident and caused the problem. I thought
No, he just
actually,
wasn't there, that's
but just
why.
because he did not show up,
Yeah.
that's what happened.
So
okay,
yeah, they were hit. I think they were hit. Yeah, so she was by a car, so he partially blind. I think it was very clever that it shows the boy is part of the in the court. He's what do you call it? The people that get called in to talk. But he's blind, so he can see anything. So
Witness?
the witness, but he's blind, so he. But the one thing I thought that was interesting is that we say the boy has a dilemma because everybody's wondering did the lady kill her husband? Because they're going really deep into the relationship, and to the point where the boy starts to question, did my mother kill my father too? So, and it's the movie kind of it makes you wonder. Throughout the movie, you're like, you don't know, it could be either way. The dilemma is because what I like about the boy is he starts questioning that, but he's going back and he revisits his relationship with his parents.
Right.
Because he doesn't know either that my mother killed my father, so he revisits his going back in his relationship with his mother, and he's going back in his relationship with his father to figure out what's going on. So I thought that was really clever, and I'm not gonna say more than that because that could be a spoiler. So that was, and what else did I say about that? Yeah, so that was pretty much it. So, no, I enjoyed it. It kept me to the edge of my seat. It was just suspenseful because you're like a murder mystery. So,
wow.
What's gonna happen? Because I'm also to question it too. Like at times I was going, "Ooh, that doesn't look good for her," or that looks good for her. I don't know. And then that her lawyer was kind of funny too.
He was.
So, but yeah, it's yeah. And then we've been watching a lot of. Lately, we're on a French series kicks. We're
Oh
watching
my God.
a lot of French murder mysteries.
We watch things that are said in English, like Astrid
Yeah.
and Wagner.
tons of these French shows
Method,
are really
and they're
good
all
murder
French.
mysteries. And I go, well, and then the movie's in French. Oh, boy, here's another one. So no, I enjoyed it. It kept me to the edge of my seat.
yeah, actually, yeah. I was confused by the fact that it was in
Okay,
English,
Bob, how
French,
much
and
did you
German.
hate it? Did you hate it?
Well, I don't know because I was busy sleeping.
That's so good.
When I started watching, I said, "Oh, they're all speaking English, okay," and everybody just spoke in this monotone. And
I like that you call it. I like that you call it the anatomy of a nap.
Yeah, I mean, I just nodded out. I said, "There's nothing interesting here. There's no plot going on here." I say anatomy of I want to hear murder after that.
Yes, that's why I keep calling it.
Yeah, I know,
And
and this was like, what the hell is going on here? And these people all were just speaking this very stilted English. The acting seemed terrible. And then afterwards, I thought it occurred to me like maybe a week or so after I had tried watching it. Oh, maybe it was just automatically being shown in English with the dubbed English version. Maybe I should have just checked.
Could be.
But then I went back and checked, and it looked like all that was available was English. And this was on.
They
This
weren't
was
speaking in English, were they?
yes.
No.
Yes.
Well,
Sometimes they
when
were.
I watched it, everybody was speaking in
I
English.
can't say word, but we'll go back and forth.
No, because they actually explained why they
Because
mostly
remember-
spoke English because she spoke German, he spoke French,
Hey,
but English was a common
I
language.
remember when she was in the court, she would say she would speak French and she wouldn't know how to say the word.
Yeah.
So she would say it in English.
Right.
How do you say this?
No,
And then-
she spoke German. That was her first language.
Right. Yeah.
Well,
But in
German
anyway.
was her
court,
first
court
language.
she spoke English. And what's interesting
she
is
couldn't-
they actually asked her questions in French, and she knew what that meant. So she actually
Yeah, she
answered in
speaks
English.
French all the
Yeah,
time.
exactly.
As fascinating as all this is, I just, you know, I finally thought, oh, you know, I should check and see if I can watch it in a native language. But then I thought, wait a minute, I already spent $6 on this that I didn't have. I'm not going to spend another $6 and see that maybe. So I just went and I looked on Prime, and all that it said subtitled English and spoken language, English this, English that, English that.
Right.
So I don't know what was going on with it, but I was not going to devote any more time
I
to
don't
it.
blame
So
you, babe.
it just bored me to sleep,
Okay.
and I thank it for that.
Okay, I made copious notes. Copious
Oh,
notes.
goody.
Oh,
I-
wonderful!
Found this movie so intriguing. It won the Palme
Palme d'Or.
d'Or
Palme d'Or.
at Cannes. Sandra Hüller or Sandra Hüller as Sandra Voigtler, I felt gave a clinic as an actress. Machado-Graner as her son. He was also amazing.
He was.
Amazing.
He should. I'm surprised. He should be nominated. That kid was like
Yeah,
amazing.
way
He
beyond
was.
his years.
It wasn't.
Of course, murder mysteries are my favorite. So, but this
But
was
you
much,
like the ones like me. You like the ones I like.
but much more than that. I have to say, I didn't understand why they charged her to begin with. They didn't seem to have any other proof.
She's
other
the
than-
wife.
No, they had
Yeah,
something.
But,
no,
well,
they
they're
did.
not really. Because they had an argument.
No,
Yeah,
no.
but she's the
No.
wife.
No. When he fell,
Yeah.
they found a thing on his head
Yes.
saying that he was hit in the head before he fell.
Fell.
Yes, but the guy proved that if he would have been in the attic, which he was, he would have hit
Well,
that
here's
thing.
the thing. But here's the thing: that the defense has a reasoning for that, and the prosecutor has a reasoning for that. But that's what she was charged.
But what I
because of
mean
that.
is, what? Yeah,
But she's the
okay,
wife. They always
but
charge the
Hello.
Yeah.
This is my point. I didn't really get that. It's like it could have happened that way, or it could have happened that way. Why did they choose that way? You know what I mean? It's kind of like
it makes it questionable.
From my point of view, she was extremely patient with him. He
Yeah.
was so dumped his whole failures of his life on her.
Who did?
The
The
husband.
husband. It's like
Yeah.
we moved here because you wanted to live here in the Alps or wherever
Right.
they live, and which is like so isolated. We moved here because you wanted to renovate a house, which you couldn't do. You wanted to be a writer. I'm a very successful writer. You're not. And it's like he's just really seems to have a huge problem with her.
Yeah.
With her
He seems to resent her in a strange way.
yes.
And don't forget, though, that she used the plot of one of his books, and that's
Yes.
why
Yes,
another
but
resentment as far as the
but he
writing
wrote- he
concerned.
wrote a book.
But he took an idea. He gave her an idea.
No,
And she told him that what if I take this and do
Right,
this with it?
exactly.
And he was like all into that.
Yeah.
Except she was
And here's
successful and
another.
he didn't like
Here's
it.
another spoiler that I'll put the spoiler for this. Too.
Yeah, a long
they go
time
into
ago.
that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Also in France, I believe the concept of presumption of innocence isn't there. So you kind of had to. It's up to you to prove you're not guilty. But in this case, to me, there was not enough proof
Evidence.
to
Yeah.
indict her. I really didn't see that. But, I'm not French. Also, in the French course, they are less formal. They just all start talking like, no, that didn't feel like that. They can just kind of talk. Whether it's the defendant or the prosecutor, or they just can all talk, which I thought was kind of cool, actually.
It can get messy.
Messy, very messy.
I was actually riveted the whole time, like a court case. I was like,
Hmm.
right? Although, in my opinion, from the beginning, she was innocent. To
Me too.
me, at the beginning, she was innocent. And I couldn't quite understand, but the movie does have a question there. The boy is not sure. And that's kind of where you're seeing it from his point of view. I would say this is not for the faint of heart. It's very suspenseful. It's very slow. And it's also very European.
Yep.
So
That's true.
it's very adult. that's what I would say. It's an adult film. It's kind of like people with conflicting emotions, and nobody's actually real good and real bad.
Nobody's gonna say you can handle the truth.
Yeah, it's no Barry Mason.
I don't understand what you mean by faint of heart, because faint of heart to me are the movies that she sees.
No, faint of heart was
She
like,
being mean.
I didn't know if she was going to get convicted or not. So
Yeah,
I
me either.
did
It's
not
like
know.
you're kind of disturbed by the physical things.
No,
that
I
go
bought
on.
into the movie. I bought into her situation, and I was concerned for
You
her.
might be disturbed
Yeah,
by
me
the
too. I
suspense.
gotta say.
of it.
Yeah.
Emotional
Okay,
roller
okay.
coaster for me.
Right.
You know, it's like, did she, is she going to get convicted? Isn't she going to get convicted? Because I'm not. I'm kind of also in a foreign country. She's also in a foreign country.
Right.
She's German, and she's in this country because of him.
Yeah.
Right. So I personally love this film. I at first I didn't know if I loved the film, but I just found myself getting more and more into it.
Caught
Like,
up,
just
yeah.
like, what? Oh my God, is she going to get off? Is she going to get,
Are they going to start another world war?
Exactly.
Oh,
So-
that's been done, Bob.
I know, by the Germans twice.
So that's my opinion.
So should we do?
No offense, Germans.
I think
Ratings?
we should. And that would be lunch.
I gave it a 4.
Yeah.
Of course you did.
I enjoyed it. I give it a 9.
Oh, I'll give it a 9 also. I liked it.
I'm gonna give it a 7. I don't know what I think of it even now.
Yeah. I really, this was one of my
And I
favorite
chose it.
movies.
No,
So, okay. So, we'll be back,
Can I
eh?
smell?
I'll be in touch.
But-
No,
but-
we'll be
but-
You
back.
can take a sip if you
Hey,
like.
mister.
We'll be
We're not
back.
paying you for nothing.
We're not paying you nothing for nothing.
Right.
What's up? What's